It's like when you're going out raving on the weekend, you know what I mean? You have this release and it's like something to look forward to, it breaks up the week, like, and it's the same with doing a radio show, and it's why I still do it now. Like, every week it's just like something, it's just to get a buzz going, like, you know what I mean? You rock up with your mate and you have a bag of records, like, and buy new records for it, and you get to hear the new records, mix the new records for the first time and stuff.
For a long time, like mainstream radio was like really resistant to dance music and electronic stuff, and really turned up their nose at it. So when other stations like did play it, was a real kind of treat. I remember it was a long time before like mainstream shows like played any kind of electronic music. They're like quite snooty towards it.
I think the very first one was Sunset FM. And then there'd be a bunch of ones that would come in and out. I think there was a bunch of different stations that called themselves Kiss FM. But the one that was the most influential by a mile was Power FM. You know, this is pre-internet, so your music sources were tapes really, and recorded tapes. So I used to sometimes tape the radio and go through the radio stations by hand, hoping to catch like a mad station from Germany, or if the weather was good enough, Radio 1 at the right time on a Saturday night. It was funny, I was so obsessed about listening to pirate radio that it was almost like I was there. I would know what was going on because I listened to it so much and just taped it. But Power FM was the big one, yeah, massive.
I always remember scanning around and just finding towards the upper end of the dial all the trancey techno-y ones, and then finding Power FM. And as soon as I found Power FM, that's what I knew. That's what I wanted, you know.
Droid, Alan Carberry, Andy Macken, Warren Kay, NAFTA, Diction, myself, Scurry, Aidan Kelly, Brian Chamberlain, who was the station, still is actually. That's a real good snapshot of everybody that was everybody in Dublin at the time. Power was brilliant, is brilliant. It really represents the city, it's a real hub.
Power was based out in kind of close to Ballyfermot. Brian Chamberlain had an apartment out there. In the sitting room of the apartment, it was a duplex apartment, and in his sitting room, underneath the stairs which went to the apartment above, is where he had the decks. And you had one deck down here, the other deck up here, and then your mixer and CD player and microphone and stuff in the middle. But when Brian would come home, he'd close the door. So you were under the stairs, kind of, that's how you were mixing it up and stuff back then.
We all had our slots. I'd have a slot on every Friday evening, and I'd go out and do it for maybe 3 or 4 years in a row, and played your house music for 3 years to people driving around in cars, and it was a pleasure to do it, you know. It was part of the culture, and it was the ads, and it was good to play in radio, you know, different, completely different.
I got involved in it because I was working in Neil Brownlee's shop, selling records, and we used to do a chart for Power. Neil used to pick out like the top 10 sellers or whatever, or 20, top 20, and he used to give it to Brian Chamberlain every week to do a show, like, you know. I think we gave him a couple of records for it as well, like, but he'd play the tunes or whatever. It was a bit of sponsorship, I suppose. And Brian was coming into the shop, and I just said to him, like, can I do a jungle show with my mate here? And I couldn't mix at all, like, at the time or anything like that. And he said, yeah. So just started, yeah, me and NAFTA started then. About 1994, I think it was. And that was it. Been on it since then.
It's the top of the hour, it's 9 p.m. It's time for Don Roscoe, who's here in the house, in the flesh. So I'll give it over to the Don. That was the B Connection show. We'll see you here same time, same place next week. That's Wednesday here on powerfm.org. Bye for now.